One photo, two computers, two married people face off in the ultimate showdown. Who can edit better? This is the first and probably the only Becky versus Chris Ultimate Lightroom Showdown.
We're only decided by you, the audience. Well, the purpose of this video is not necessarily to see whose photo is best. The purpose is to show you guys how we differ and how you can go two radically different ways with one photo.
And the other thing too that we wanted to touch on briefly is kind of finding your own photo editing style. While it's really great to learn from other people and learn how other people edit their photos, it's good to take those techniques and then flip them and reverse them and then make your own kind of...
Flip it and reverse it. Got bones in it. Hopefully you guys find it interesting how different our styles are, but also hopefully you can pull some little nuggets of information and incorporate it into your own workflow.
Okay, so we're gonna be starting with this photo that we took like 2 years ago.
Back when I was doing fashion Instagram stuff.
This video is not sponsored, by the way. This photo is very old. We're gonna do a quick time lapse. We're gonna fast forward all through the shit. You're gonna see us facing down, and then at the end, we're gonna show you before and after, and then we're gonna explain what we did to get the results of our photos.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
First, we have to bring our laptops.
How come you get the new one?
Because I'm the best. Do you want to switch? Do you want this one?
Yeah. No, you can have that one.
All right, here we go.
No peeking at my screen.
Yeah, no
okay?
peeking at mine either.
We should turn towards each other like this so we can't see each other.
I think I'm at a disadvantage because I'm getting a backlight here.
I think I'm at a disadvantage.
Because it looks gonna look stupid.
I think you're at a disadvantage because you're up against me. My Lightroom just quit.
What? You know what? That happened to me a second ago too when I closed my computer. I'll wait. But look. That's how you look.
I didn't look.
You peeked!
I didn't mean to.
You cheater. Peter, cheater, pumpkin eater.
File cannot be found. Are you kidding me?
3,
2,
1. Oh, no.
Yours.
Whoa, yours is so good.
Yours is way different than mine.
So different.
Yours
Wow.
is very like minimalist, urban, desaturated. Mine's just like
blue and pink. I love it. Well, this is what's really interesting because the same photo, two completely different eyes, two different styles. That's what I love about shooting with people and editing with people and just seeing what people come back with, because like the way you interpret it is just completely different. I like yours way better.
Really? I like yours better. Oh, we both won.
Oh, we both won. Well, they're both two different looks.
Yeah, let's analyze each other's pictures.
Okay, so we'll throw it up on the screen here. So you really like accentuated the color in the car, which I completely stripped the color out of my car. You have like the blues in the sky, and then like that warm like golden pinky glow from the lights, and then like
there was a weird red light, like a magenta light, reflecting off the back of the car, like in the hindquarter. So I desaturated that to make it more of a uniform color, and then I left it sort of with a warm tone, only because I was kind of going for that sort of not like amber and teal look, but if you threw this on like a vector scope in Premiere, it'd be a very like complementary like blue and amber distribution, like warms and colds. All the lights, the bokeh of the out of focus lights in the background, them being, I knew they were going to be yellow and amber compared to the natural daylight balance.
I love how much you like took down the sky. Like it looks moody.
I feel like we did the same thing.
Yeah, I took down my sky, not as much as yours.
Okay, I'm gonna analyze your edit here. When I first look at it, like mine's like, I went with like a complementary color scheme.
And I thought that you would.
You did like the monochrome scheme. It's like you chose like a couple warm tones. Like if you're on your vector scope, it would be like yellows, reds, and then just everything else devoid. Totally okay. It's just a totally different color palette.
I feel like yours is very like city sunset and mine is very city urban. You really took down like your water.
I did a brush on the city and dropped the exposure down.
Yeah, I wish I did that.
I did a little bit of old school dodging and burning, and then I added a little bit of brightness here to kind of like play up.
So did I.
To play up that there was like a headlight.
Yeah, me too. We did that as well.
The big difference between us is just
color.
The color and toning that we decided to go with. I did a lot with the tone curves. Did you split tone at all?
I did a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't touch the split toning, but I did it manually with curves.
Okay.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize they can do. Is split toning functions great because it's quick and dirty, and if you just want to do a quick basic thing, but with curves you have so much more flexibility.
Yeah.
So I would recommend everybody learn how to use curves and understand what you're doing. It's kind of out of the scope of this video to do a curves tutorial.
We should do a curves tutorial though. It's
should,
actually
yeah.
on my list of video ideas.
Yeah.
I figured you were going to do most of yours in curves because I feel like you have a tendency to do that.
I'm a curves junkie.
So I did the same thing as the tutorial: calibration, hue, saturation, luminance sliders, and split toning. That's where I do most of my.
See, it's interesting
color.
because you and we've sort of developed our own algorithms on how we edit photo. I think we both always start with the basic sliders. I'll do my exposure, my shadows and highlights. And learning the difference between whites and blacks and shadows and highlights is key.
That's because once you understand what those sliders do and how they're affecting your image, you're really going to be able to push and pull and get what you want to get in your head out in Lightroom.
Yeah, so without getting too far into it, shadows and highlights will crunch the dynamic range down in your image. So if you have a really bright area and really dark area, it'll balance those areas in your photo out. Whites and blacks will just globally change the bright areas and dark areas in your image without taking into consideration what's going on in the image. I'll very early on I'll adjust my tones, my exposure, my contrast, my highlights and shadows, and then I'll even go into my adjustment brushes.
Before you even put color on?
Before I even put color on, because I know I want to have like a perfectly even exposure that it's close to the end thing.
Okay.
So when I apply the color, I can kind of get an idea what it's going to look like. And I'll go back and tweak things. Like I didn't do it all up front.
So I did the main ones, then I did the color, then I started adding my brushes, pulling the sky down, pulling...
Okay. I feel like when they grade video or like films, very rarely do they have pure black. Like a lot of times it's like their blacks are hovering at like 20 or 30 rather than 0.
They also use their shadows though. A lot of times, and maybe I'm just thinking of like more cinematic, dramatic looking films, but I feel like the histogram is shifted to the left.
Yes, there's like midtones and highlights are where all the highlights hang out. So I kind of edited my photo with that. You'll notice there's actually no pure white in it. I really used my curves to bring down the highlights and kind of really make it feel dark. But you have to adjust the midtones appropriately so it doesn't look underexposed. Like the difference between underexposed.
Yes, and using your histogram.
Exactly, yeah. Because I find you edit for our feed.
I do, yes.
Which is completely natural. I edit for probably the feed that I would have if you didn't exist. Saying that one's better than the other. It's just different styles again.
So I have a challenge for you.
Challenge accepted. I don't even know what it is yet.
Is to edit your own photos for your own Dr. Nicholas feed, Dr. Chris Nicholas feed, the way you would like to see your feed look.
This is just like almost the style that I gravitate towards. But I always look at other things like yours. I was like, oh, that's so much better. I love that. It's almost like what is in my head I'm tired of, but I always gravitate towards it because
because you're used to that.
I'm used to it. It's my standard recipe and it's tried and true for me, and I know how to get to it pretty easily. When
you're a photographer and you've been shooting and editing photos for as long as we have, you do get trapped in the things that you're used to in your comfort zone and your go-to. And that's fine and that's great, and sometimes people hire you because that's the look that's your brand. And I think that overall our Instagram feed, like no matter what theme we're going for, there's still a similar style. It's just different colors.
The only way I'm gonna do this is if you put a folder on the computer with stuff, just throw raw files.
Okay guys, so this is what we're gonna do. For January, I'm gonna throw a bunch of photos that I've taken for Chris into a folder, and he's gonna edit them.
However I want my feed to be.
You're gonna curate your feed to match. And you had to upload more than one photo in a month. You guys have been asking actually to do like a video on how to make your feed more consistent. So if you accept my challenge, Dr. Chris Nicholas, husband, man, lover of my life, if you accept my challenge, we'll do this video at the end of January. I'll give you guys some tips and tricks on how to get those things. You're not gonna fail because you're gonna do it. You're gonna work it and it's gonna be fantastic.
So I know this was a little bit of a whirlwind. It wasn't truly a tutorial. It was more sort of an exercise on how we edit differently. There's a lot of techniques that we used in this video. If you guys want to know any more about that, let us know in the comments below what ones you were intrigued by, confused by, interested in, whatever. We may be able to do an actual tutorial on that.
100%. We're gonna post these photos on the community tab and we're gonna put up a poll. So let us know. We're not gonna be offended. Who's you like? Don't be mean. Don't be like, Becky's a shit. She's a shitty photographer, because that's hurtful. But don't be hurtful. But tell us which one that you prefer in the poll, in the comments, or I think that was fun exercise. What do you think?
I think it was too. You kept trying to peek.
I was like, what is he doing over there? But then I didn't want to be influenced by your look.
I know, I didn't want to be influenced by yours either.
Alright, we're going to close it there. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. We will see you on the next one.
Pick it up and reverse it.
Please don't whip me with that. Are we going to set a time limit? Give me the Jesus cloth.
Jesus cloth. What is a Jesus cloth?
It's just a cloth, and I'm putting emphasis on it by saying Jesus. You have spit or something
I know,
on
I
your
just
chin.
drooled.